Okay, so good evening to all of you. And before we can just get going, let me just recap what we have done. So in the last session, what we have discussed, we have discussed about the main component of Oracle database. And not discussed, just we have gone through the nomenclature. It's not that we have discussed in detail what we have, means what is the function of each and every component and all those kind of things. So today we are just, again, we'll go for the surface level only, just to avoid the confusion. As I mentioned, this is one of the very important topic what we have in the entire this database part. This Oracle database part. Okay, so and one more thing we have discussed, the different phases of database. That means which very first thing what will happen, then the second thing what will happen, the third. So 3 stages are there. So what I'll do, I'll just show you the command through which we are going to in these 3 stages. So before I'll show you the practical part, what I'll do, I'll just finish the particular one-liner about the architecture and a little bit about their sequence of functionality. Again, this is one of the main thing for the database profile. Okay, so the reason I'm keep repeating this, just to give you guys the importance of it. Okay. So in case you missed, you can just watch the session 1. This is session 2, and we are just going to continue with this. So with that, let me share my screen. Just give me 1 minute for this. And I'm sharing my screen. Okay. I hope you all are getting my screen. And we all know the credential. So, but again, practical part, what I would like you guys don't do at least for now. Okay, later on you can do it, but not now. The thing will break. Once I'm done with the session, definitely you will be able to do it. You can just go ahead and do it, that part. Okay. Now, again, the repetition, which all are the etc for a tab. We all know right now, we can see it's a 2 database. There's 2 part. I'm going to use the first one. Or again is there, then the name of the database. How to check whether database is up and running or not. That also we are just keep repeating. And we can see there is a no something called SHA is running. So we have learned this, and we have discussed again what exactly this idle instance is all about. So that means database is not up and running. So 2 ways we check. One is PSPNCF grep Pmon, and the second one, if it is idle instance, you make sure that the environment you have logged in, it's not working or it's not open. The database is in closed state. So now, again, by sitting here, I want to check the process. I don't want to go back to the command prompt. So if you guys remember, maybe last week or maybe last week we have discussed, if you want to execute any command related to OS by setting in Oracle prompt means I'm referring here SQL, you have to do with this exclamation. Okay, so exclamation, and then what command we know to check the process? PS minus P1. Now you all can see that this is running. Okay, so advantage, you won't need to go and just switch from the SQL prompt to back our OS and again come back here. So that is, means we usually do this in real life thing. Okay, now coming back to our own the diagram, how it is internally, which all are the component running behind this, and for that we have already, if you guys remember, these are the nomenclature we have gone through, and the entire half an hour, 45 minutes what we discussed as a whole up to this one. So now we need to understand a little bit more detail. Naming wise, we all are already familiar with. Now, if naming wise familiar, what exactly we are going to do? Some more keyword I am going to show you guys, and that is, let me clarify one more thing. I'm putting this area. So if you, let me just read this. One more time. What I did here, I kept, if you see here, two parts is there, right? Number one, what we mentioned, it's a memory part. Number two, we put it the processing part. Memory part, what we have discussed, this is basically, it's a system global area, SGA I said. CPU part, what we said, we discussed, it's a background process. Now, clubbing together SGA and background process, that means the RAM part and processor part. If we will club together, the common term in Oracle, what we are using, you will be listening on the, it's a very frequent way. We are using a term or the word known as instance. So the moment we are saying instance, the picture or clock or the brain should signal to us at least, okay, instance means we are referring, we are targeting what the memory part and the background process part. This two things we are referring. And so let me just type it out real quick. Clubbing together, okay? So don't confuse instance. So whenever we are saying database instance, means we are referring to this two particular part. First is memory part, second is processor part. Relevant to or related to Oracle process, Oracle memory, not the entire operating system memory or the processor. That means only related to Oracle. So hope instance equal to, you can say SGA plus background process. Database equal to, we can say that instance plus all the, what I said here yesterday, if you guys remember. Let me put one more What we discussed, it's a hard disk or this data file. So this entire part, what we are saying, entire part is coming under data file. This is, you might be thinking, sir, but here there is a redo log file, control file, these things are there, password file, parameter file, these all are coming under data file. And common as a whole, we are explicitly treating this as a physical file, and we are saying here data file. So what is the conclusion? If somebody will ask us little technically, keeping in mind whatever in front of you guys, okay, so we can just write or think or visualize in this form what I'm just going to write right now. Okay, so here, if someone will ask us database, so I'm writing here, let me increase the font size a little bit more. So little I'll increase. Instead of 1620. Now, here I'm saying Oracle DB, in short I'm writing, equal to what? Oracle DB equal to instance plus data file. This we can say number one. Instance, and let me increase this. So yeah, or we can say Oracle database equal to instance means what? We can just write it like SHA plus BG process, means background process, BG process plus data file. This is as a whole internally what we all supposed to know in the label of what? It's an administrator, means database administrator profile. As I mentioned, we are just going in the advanced part. So this is internally, the moment somebody is saying a database, Oracle database, these pictures should come in our mind. This block diagram. That means the memory will be there. Why we are discussing this again and again, memory. Because we need to understand the internal, whenever we are giving one command called select star from EMP, which all of the component is internally involved. Again, I'm repeating, which all of the component is being involved in fetching or just getting the data from the table from the Oracle database. And I'll show you, if time permits, because it is going to take a little bit longer time, but I'll show you how the flow will be. So here now, conclusion is Oracle database equal to instance plus data file, instance means SHA plus background process. We are crystal clear, RAM part, crystal clear, CPU part, crystal clear, hard disk part. Memory means SHA, CPU means background process, hard disk related, it's a data file. Now I'm moving to next. Next, what is the very first component we are going to discuss? And that is what we are discussing is the shared pool. And under shared pool, we are having two components. That is, number one is that library cache and data dictionary cache. So whenever we are giving a name called cache, you start thinking it's memory part only. To start with, because as you Few of you might be thinking, so many things. Yeah, that is what is for next 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 20 year, whatever you work. 85 to 90% is this much only. Extra few component will be just added in the latest version, or a few component is there that is not that important. It's a missing here. But 85, 90% you can treat is this all about. So once you have heard, you will be just keep getting these words while studying. So nothing to worry so many or that. Okay, to start with. Yes, it is going to a little bit confusion, but the same thing if you keep listening, keep just watching this, the component, this component is doing this component is doing this, it's a matter of a day or 2, maybe 3, that's okay. And it is going to give you more confidence. Okay, now, what is the main purpose of this shared pool? And under shared pool, basically 2 common library cache and data dictionary cache. I'm just keeping very simple. Okay, keeping in mind just you guys have just 0 idea about this. On the basis of that, I'm putting myself on that level. So whenever we are, let me just open new page. Let me just save it and this is first page, and I'm putting as a save as. This is 2, and I'm just, this was the situation we begin with. So first I'm going to explain a little bit about this library cache. So simple, the moment we are writing this command, what? This is the command we are writing. So what is happening behind the scene after hitting enter button? That we need to understand first. So to understand that part, let me just clear. Okay, so I'm just starting from here. Okay, so the first step, what we are doing, select first step is this. After hitting enter, what is going behind the scene? Maybe within fraction of a second we are getting output, but within that fraction of a second, what all other things happened, that we are going to understand here. So the very first thing after hitting enter, the technical term I'm using is, this is a very important part, okay? Parsing. This is the first reaction happening. Now, question is, here you can ask me saying that, what exactly you are referring here, parsing? That is very, very important question. Okay, what exactly parsing means? Parsing means 2 things. One is syntax check, and the second thing is semantic check. Now, question is, but these words are totally new to us. So, what exactly it means? So, syntax means whatever rule we supposed to follow while writing SQL, like select star from EMP. From should be from, not form. Select should be selected. It's not that SELACT. So those rules, those keywords are typed properly or not. And if it is not typed properly, we are getting error. How it is getting error? How? Definitely some mechanism is there in the software that is getting checked. So that checking we are saying syntax check. If it through True means no error. Second check is there, and that is known as semantic check. What exactly the semantic check means? Semantic check means whatever name you have given, like EMP table or employee table or whichever other database object name. For now, we are knowing only for practice purpose employee table and departments table. So take example of this two only. If you are giving EMP, whether this EMP table is there or not, how to check? Definitely somewhere something is getting checked. So I'll tell you which area it will check, but first we're trying to understand the syntax, means syntax checking. Semantic checking means the object like EMP or employee or any object, whether this is available in the database or not. If not available, it will give error. It might happen that object is there, but the permission, accessibility for you is not available. I said two things here. Database means that object is available or not. And the second thing I mentioned that whether the permission for you is available or not. It might happen that database is having hundreds or maybe thousands of different objects. You might not be having permission to access all. How to control access and all that, we'll discuss later on. But for now, it might happen. How these things is getting checked. Okay, so how I'm coming to that part, but that checking is known as semantic check. So as a whole, this two thing is okay. That means object is available, the whatever the rule we're supposed to follow, if both are good, then it will go and do the second part. What second part? I'll come, but before going to second part or the next part, let us discuss which area this checking, which area this particular syntax and semantic check will take place. Okay, so just for as a layman, okay, basis, this is being checked in this area called shared pool. Okay, in this area, just for now, it is getting checked here. And after that, what happened? Checking is done. Which area we got to know? That shared pool. In shared pool, which area is what? Just for your information, this under library cache, all the semantic and all further few handful of another work is getting done. I'll come to that part. And that semantic check is getting checked in the data dictionary cache. That's it. Once checking is done, everything is through. All are good. What is the next? This particular, the next step, I'm coming to the next part, that means the step 2 is creating plan or in execution plan. What exactly it means, creating execution plan? There are different ways are available in this that we have to read the data. So far, we have just checked the syntax and the object is there or not. Ultimate aim to display the data from the prompt where you have put the select star from EMP. The whole aim is this to display. Before displaying, what are the things what we are discussing now? So we discuss only one part. What is the second part? Second part is it will create the execution plan. Means there are different ways, options are available so that we can fetch the data from the data file or from this location. These things we have discussed now, this area. Okay, so it will fetch from this. So while fetching, there are different routes are there. Which one is best way to fetch those data? That is getting defined internally. That is algorithm there. We don't know what algorithm. This I'm not going to that. And ultimately, I'm giving one example here. Suppose right now, whichever location you guys are, from that location, you want to go to maybe airport or railway station. You can think that it might be there are 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 different ways are there to reach airport or railway station. Before leaving, you used to check few things. Which route is to choose? Keeping in mind cost, your comfort, you should not miss the train or flight. These are the parameters. Same way, Oracle software, the name is optimizer, will decide to display the data, that employee's data, which one is the best path to choose, so less resource will be consumed. In less time, data should be displayed. Just like the same example what I gave, you want to go to airport or railway station, which route to choose, so that you can, with comfort, less spend money, and you should not miss the flight or train, and you reach. The same stuff here. Output should be displayed by consuming minimum resource. Minimum resource means maybe less memory should be used, less processors should be used, like those things. So that plan first getting generated, just like before starting your journey, definitely you made a plan, or you take what Uber or your own private vehicle or public transport. You made decision, right? After that, you start traveling. Same thing here. First, it will decide. Who will decide? There is a optimizer in Oracle. It will decide by checking n number of things. Sir, what is n number of things you are referring? Can you make it more simple? So n number of things, like as mentioned already to you guys. In this route, if I choose traffic jam, red signal more, I'll not choose that path. Likewise, there are n number of internal stuffs are there that is getting checked. Keeping in mind everything, which one is the best, that best plan is going to be selected. That means out of n number of route, which one is the best that you are selecting, and then you start traveling. Same thing after getting the best plan. Who will decide? The optimizer. Means Oracle. If you are having confusion with this optimizer, Oracle will decide which way to start for displaying data or having data. So that needs some time to just make this decision, maybe a fraction of a second only, but I'm saying the step. So that's for the creating the execution plan, and out of that, best plan will be choose. What next? Next will be, so whatever this thing so far happening, it's happening in the shared pool only. Okay, just for FYI, because so many components we have discussed. So it's okay under shared pool. That's done. Plan is done. That means here execution plan is already done. What is the third step? So third step is, now we are selecting data. So far we were discussing only SQL, their plan, best plan, that's it. Now, which part we need to understand out of all these components, where is the actual data, like employee ID, name, address, phone number, those things are being kept. Which particular specific location, which area. So that is permanently means kept in this area. That means in the data files. So first, what will Oracle process will do what? It will check in the memory area. Because as basic concept, we all know that first it is getting checked in the RAM. If the data is not available, then it will go to disk. Same way here also, it will check first memory area. But sir, here we are having 4 or 5 different memory area. We have discussed, we got some idea about shared pool. So which memory area it will look for the data of employee table. So the first thing in the memory component related to data. So far, the memory area, what we discussed, only a SQL statement and their plan is getting kept. Data is not there in the picture yet. Now we are coming towards data. So the data will come and check in this database buffer cache. As I mentioned, that the moment we are putting cache means it's a memory area. Okay, so database buffer cache, it will check here whether the data, which data, employees data are available in this memory area. Very first time we are assuming that very first time we are searching or using this SQL statement, select sharp from EMP, we are assuming in memory data is not there. What will happen next? So the Oracle process will, if it is not getting in the memory, that is database buffer cache, it will go to the data file part. Where data file? Which data file I'm referring to? I'm referring to this one. That means this data file. This area I'm referring to. Okay, so this part. Now it will go and read from that data file related to that in EMP table, because we have already checked EMP table was there. Then only that checking is done. Okay, so it will fetch the data and put it into database buffer cache, and from database buffer cache via media, few components are there. We are not going to discuss all those things because it's not relevant now. So from this database buffer cache, what it will happen? The data will be displayed to the terminal or command or the prompt from where you have given statement like select star from EMP, and then it is getting displayed. So ultimately, in a fraction of a second, all this checking is getting done internally. So as a whole, how many components we have already discussed? Already discussed about some idea we have shared pool, that is any SQL related, the plan, SQL related checking is getting done in shared pool. That is the only one takeaway. That's it. I'm just concluding whatever component. So we are done with the shared pool. In the two component in library cache, I said the execution plan or that syntax checking related those things, execution plan, and data dictionary cache, I said it is getting checked that the semantic check kind of thing, it is getting done in this. So one line. In database buffer cache, EMP table related data should be there. If it is not there, it will come. The server process will come. Some process will come and check in the data file, extract the data, put into database buffer cache, and from database buffer cache, it will go to the screen or the terminal where you have given a command. Which command? Select star from EMP. That's it. This is as simple in one line. Now, sir, what is the use of this redo log buffer? What is the use of this something called Java pull, something called large pull, all these things? One line we will discuss. Okay. Now, in one line, what is the purpose of redo log buffer cache? So whenever we are using any DML, any DML or any DDL. DML means insert, update, delete, DDL, create, what we have used. So those line, whatever we are writing, that is being kept in this area. Which area? Read log buffer first. A buffer means memory. But we all know that memory is not going to keep anything permanently. The moment system will shut down, what will happen? The memory will be vanished. That means nothing will be there. Same way, when we are inserting, so we are giving some value, right? 1 comma a comma salary or whatever we are giving. We are giving so value where that value is being kept. While selection, okay, we got it. Okay, database buffer cache from data file. It is fetching the data, putting in the database buffer, and from buffer it is displaying to the terminal from where you have given select statement. But when we are using insert, that means we are putting data into database. We are doing some update. So when we are inserting, so we are giving value, right? That value will be put some very first time in this database buffer cache. So select ka different process. Now we are discussing insert, that means DML. So those data part, not the entire SQL part. Data, that means whatever value, city or name, that is first being kept into database buffer cache. And time to time, it will be copied to some physical place. So two component I'm discussing. One is database buffer cache where 1, 2 or name, phone number, those things being kept, and another redo log or the SQL statement, entire SQL statement, maybe DML, not DQL, okay? DML or DDL, that is being kept into redo log file, redo log buffer. So both the memory part are keeping two type of thing. Redo log buffer, it's a SQL statement, DML, DDL. Database buffer cache, the value. So hope this part is clear, because we used to get a lot of confusion. If still you're confused, you can just re-watch this recording, okay? So once this done memory, but memory have limit. How long it will keep putting the SQL statement, means all DML, DDL or the values, it have some limit. So time to time, which time to time, how long, after how long and all, slowly we will come. But time to time, the database buffer, whatever value is being written into a data file. Which data file? This one data file, what the place I have written data file. So from database buffer cache to data file, it's getting written. What? The values. And same way, redo log buffer, that is here a SQL statement, the transaction what we used to say, or SQL statement for as a raw sense, you can, to avoid confusion, all the SQL statement is being kept in the buffer. From this redo log buffer, data will, that the content of redo log buffer will be transferred into redo log file. Now, question might be thinking, but sir, why we are discussing all these things? It is the internal part anyway. Why to spend time on this? If we will not understand these architecture, while doing troubleshooting, we will be in trouble. And that is the reason we are trying to just understand this thing. Okay, so conclusion, database buffer data will come to data file. Redo log buffer thing will come to redo log file. But how it will come? Who will write? Who will write these things? And if you guys remember, in last session, we have discussed few let me open that old file so we can. We have discussed some processes, right? PMON, SMON, DVWR, LGWR. So each and every process is having their own role and responsibility. So here we are trying to focus on two parts. Database buffer cache data will be written into data file, which process will write, and redo log buffer data will, content will be written into redo log file, who will write this. So the point number 3, that means DBWR means database writer. Okay, famous for DBWR, but if you want to get a little bit more meaningful name, so database writer. So the process known as DBWR, database writer, the main task for database writer or DBWR is to write the content available in database buffer cache to data file. So hope that is clear. What is the role of database writer or DBWR? When there are some rules. So what is the rule basics for the common sense perspective? When the database buffer cache is about to fill up, no room is there to put more data. So sometime it will fill. Then once fill, it will be transferred or written into data file by database writer. As a thumb rule, definitely some more specific guideline is there, but as a about to fill, transfer right into data file. That's it. Same thing, read log buffer cache, when it will, again some rules are there, like every 3 seconds, or so I'm not going to those rules. Simply when it is full, no room is there, log writer will write into read log file. So 3 and 4. 3 means database writer, 4 means log writer. So slowly we covered what? Shared pool we have covered, database buffer cache we have covered, read log buffer cache we have covered. Remaining 2 more component, one is Java pool. So if Java related application is running in the Oracle database, then only Java pool will be used. So it's optional. If your database is going to have Java related application, Java related, then for Java related activity, this memory will be used, known as Java pool. And what is large pool? One of the main tasks for large pool, we can treat as a, for now, it's a backup and recovery. So what is backup recovery? Right now we don't know. We'll come to know on due course of time. Okay, so this is the conclusion for all these memory. Shared pool, database buffer cache, read log buffer cache. So ultimately we discuss only 3, if you remember. Shared pool, database buffer cache, read log buffer cache. Rest we don't know. Java pool, I said, Java related application run, then it is being used. And large pool, I said, when we'll take backup and some other scenarios are there. But for one-liner, if somebody will ask what is the purpose of Java pool, it is being used for the recovery activity. That's it. Nothing more than that. So by discussing this, we have done with the first, that is the SGA part or the memory part. We came to know a couple of the processor, that means the processing like database writer and log writer. Okay, now a little bit we are focusing on, more focusing on processor, that means the background processors what we have. So number 1 is PMON and SMON. Just you remember, it's a PMON, it's a process monitor. Okay, just process monitor. It has some own internal work activity. Right now, it's not right time to discuss, so I'm not saying use because you're not able to feel it. SMON, you can just remember one line that due to whatever reason, if database will shut down abnormally, you may be thinking, sir, what is abnormally? Say, for example, take example of your laptop or desktop you are using at your home, and suddenly power off. You don't have any power backup. No UPS, no inverter, nothing is there, power backup. Suddenly, what will happen? Entire system will be down. And again, next time, when power will come, if you switch on your machine, what will happen? Some recovery kind of thing you might be seeing. And ultimately, whatever the data was not saved, still the thing used to come most of the time nowadays. how it is happening. You didn't save it, still data is coming. So same way, so by which way means the data is coming back. So some internal mechanism is there, it used to do recovery. So some process in the operating system level used to do that thing. Same thing, same scenario if the system where database is there, it got shut down suddenly due to power failure or due to whatever major disaster. It's rare, but still there are chances. Or maybe by mistake somebody have just power off the entire main switch. Again, it's exceptional, but it may happen. It's a human error. So if that is the scenario, database will be down. You didn't shut down properly. So if that is the scenario, database activity is going on, suddenly database got closed. So the next time when we'll start, so it will do some recovery to make a sync to the label so that everything will be start running smoothly or perfectly. So that process recovery in that scenario, those scenario, we are saying instance recovery. It's because the suddenly down means it's the process where technically we are saying instance crash. So if it is crash, need to do some recovery when next time the database will start. So that instance recovery part will be done by the process known as S1 process. Okay, so hope in one line it's a instance recovery is getting done by the S1 process. P1 processor, can you please share one line whether we will understand or not? That's okay. So in the process monitor, whichever resources, memory or memory related that processes are there in your system that is not being used, that will be cleaned by P1 process. Again, confusion, sir, not being used by means I didn't get. Suppose you are working, you connected to HR and you are doing your activity. And suddenly what happened? Your own local machines, something happened, connection got lost. That means what? In the client side, you got disconnected, but whatever activity you are doing, it is there in the server side, right? So, but the use of it, that is owner who was controlling that is already gone due to whatever reason. So it's already sitting, consumed a resource, some resources in the database side, memory or so who will clean that kind of activity? And many more, but just for giving you guys a little bit context. So how it will come to know, okay, this user is already gone, but it is some memory area or some resource being kept by that user. So that is which process is responsible for cleaning that? That is P1. So P1 we have little idea. S1 we have little idea like instance recovery. Database writer we have discussed that database buffer cache to data file is written by database writer. Log writer we have clear, that means relog buffer, whatever content is getting written into relog file by a process known as log writer. Now, one more thing is CKPT in full form. We are saying it's a check pointer. So, as a layman, check pointer means the database buffer is written into data file. Redo log buffer is written into redo log file. Who will make control that, okay, database writer have written up to what? Log writer have written into redo log file up to what? Just like you are having big go down in the old days and something is going out. So who is responsible for keeping track how many things gone out, how many maybe bags came in go down? somebody known as Munimji or some accountant used to be there. Okay, it's gone, 2 bag gone, 3. So they used to make it. So that particular notebook, or you can say whatever the copy, that is going to have what? The total gist. Okay, how many number of bags is there in go down? How many already sold or gone somewhere? So what is that register or that copy or notebook is doing? It is keeping track of the status of the inventory. Same way here, whatever in the data, buffer to data file, redo log, buffer to redo log file, how much is already written? Who is going to maintain this? Where it is going to getting maintained? So that status is getting maintained by CKPT, check pointer, what we are saying, and where it is getting maintained. Because we have written here 3 parts. Data file, we know all the tables data is there. Read log file, we know all the select state, DML statement, DDL statement is being kept. But all the status, what is happening, what is going on, the status, that register or copy or that Munimji Khata, whatever I mentioned, what is that? Here is known as control file. So check pointer process will write the status of the database into control file. Status of the database, what exactly I referred? Just 2 things I referred now, just to make it simple. Whatever is written from data file to data, database buffer cache to data file, read log buffer cache to redo log file. So those things, how much? So that is there available in the control file, written by CKPT check pointer process. So these are the main component, and one line we all have at least. I know a little confusion, but you can rewatch the recording. That is, I made it very simple, and after that you can refer any document. I'll help you later on. The thing will be crystal clear. If you guys got this half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever thing we have discussed, rest thing, no need to worry. Component, one line, this thing, and time to come, the thing will be more refined. Because right now, what I'm trying to put you guys in front of you, that okay, you can visualize something. Okay, one line, this thing is being done. If you go more detail, the thing will be. And if you got this, you are done again, 85 to 90%. Rest define will be there, more and more, little bit more component will be coming in, but this is about 85-90% of this name wise. Okay, so hope it's whatever we have discussed, it's clear. Now, few processes are there. Archiver process is there. Point number 6, if you guys are just looking. So point number 6, archiver is there. Then another archive log file is there. So you can just think, whatever content is there in the redo log file, time to time it will transfer into an archive file. That's it. Why transfer? What is the advantage? So transfer into archive log file. So redo log files, data or content will transfer into archive log file. Who will transfer? Who will write this? Archiver process. That means point number 6, process number 6, what I mentioned outside. Why I have kept it knowingly outside? Because this is an optional process. Due to certain conditions, this is being used. Due to certain condition, it is not being used. It's not necessary. Question here, sir, in which situation it is being used? In which situation is it not being used? That we will come to know on due course of time. This is not right time to discuss, but yes, in one-liner, archiver process will write the content of the redo log to archive file. When, what? Simple, when it's full, it will transfer from here to there. Why? Definitely, this question should come in our mind. Sir, why we are doing this? So, in one line, or you can ask here also, read log buffer, why it is keeping the SQL statement or the DML DDL statement is being kept. So, answer is, it is for the recovery purpose. Sir, how it is recovery purpose, or if data lost something somehow, it will help us to do recovery. That's it. how to do recovery, what type of recovery, what recovery you are referring to. It's not right time to discuss. Okay, on due course of time, we will discuss on it. Now, as a whole, in front of you guys, whatever is seen, this is the ultimate thing. If you got this, you are much more in good position. So you have to just keep, at least watch this recording maybe a couple of times for a few days. Okay, and that's it. This will give you whatever the next season, what we will do. This all component will help you to boost your confidence level, because I'm going to use all these words, all these components time to time in the entire session, maybe whatever 25 hour we are going to discuss all this thing. Okay, and again, I'm repeating here, yesterday also I discussed, this is one of the toughest part for Oracle database. This is the toughest part. Most of us is working in the industry, but we are not aware with much more detail. We are having some idea, but not much more in detail. Okay, so now I'll take another 10 minutes, but 10 minutes in the practical. This three thing I already mentioned, three parts from yesterday. We are discussing this. So let me just introduce few new words, and that I'm going to show it to you practically. And that is first term. Let me change the color for this. So it is. These are the core Oracle terms. Okay, no mount. What is no mount? I'll tell you. First, get familiar with. Then mount, and then open. As I mentioned, there are three stages. First stage is this. Second stage is this. Third stage is this. When we are opening, just like I was discussing yesterday, that when you are riding bike or a car, gear number one, first steps are there. Clutch, neutral, 1, 2, 3, and that way car or any vehicle are running full fast. Same way, when we are starting database, these are the steps. First, it will go to no mount mode. Then the second is mount mode. Third is open mode. So how to start database is no mount mode. Why to do, I'll tell you. But how to start in no mount mode? How to start database from no mount to mount mode? How to start database from mount to open mode? So these three things we are going to discuss. And definitely this is, we have used a statement called just simply startup, right? So all these three things are happening. Now we are going to break this three into three different phases, and we are trying to start. Okay. So for that, definitely database should be there in the shutdown mode. So first I'll shut down the database, and after shutdown, what I'll do, I'll just start it by one stage. Okay. So let's see. Now, first we have to, let me set the environment. This is DBA. Now, shutdown. We have already discussed what is the command to shut down the database yesterday. See, here, one of the main thing, Oracle instance shutdown. Instance means what? Again, this term we have discussed. Instance means this combination of what? Processes and memory part. Okay, so let's have three phases. First thing, how to start database. Question is how to start databases in no mount mode. Startup. This is first stage. First stage means now. What happened internally? How to know? Internally means this is a block diagram what we have discussed. We need to understand what's happened. What has happened in this? So the moment we are doing startup no mount mode means your instance got activated. Instance means memory will be allocated for database and background process will be started. Again, I'm repeating. Memory got allocated and background processes got started. Memory, see, these are the memory. Database buffer, regular buffer, some size. So see, this is the buffer. That means memory area got allocated. Processes, background processes are started. How you will able to check? Again, PS minus EF grep P1 or if you want to check all the Oracle processes, we have discussed only 6 or 7, right? 6. There are many. PS minus EF grep what? You give Oracle. See, so many processes related to so many. See, but few are very much familiar to us. What? See, P1 process. Okay, what else is known to us? These are not known to us here. DBWR, this process. LGWR, this process. CKPT, this process. SMON, this process is known to us. P1 already discussed. See? So it proves that in no mount this thing has been started. If I'll shut down and I'll check, let me shut down and check it. Shut down. I'm doing just shut down. I'll check. Same command I'll give, okay? Same command I'm doing. PS minus grep Oracle. See? Are we getting that PMON, SMON, all the processes, whatever we were getting? It's gone, right? So it proves that no mount means memory allocation as we have seen it and processes got started. And the same thing I'm doing right now again. Startup, no mount, and he will check, he'll able to get it. See? Instead of PMON, just give Oracle. See? So coming back to our this thing, this is a no mount. In mount, what will happen? In mount, this control file is there that will read and do some activity. So we are not going to deep. Just we are whole aim is to just know there are three phases of database while starting. One is no mount. After that, you want to open in the mount mode. Sir, how come we will know these command and all these things? I'm just teaching you why we are doing this. Again, we will use this thing while doing recovery later on. Okay, so that's what we are getting familiar with this, all this thing. So alter database mount, and then the open, the 3-stage I mentioned. No mount, mount, open. So this is open and alter database. So we'll come to know when time comes that no mount. Okay, no mount is clear, that background process. Why I'll do? In which situation we will do this? When we will fall into big trouble, that time it will help us. We'll do practically later on. Okay, so this is the way to start database in 3 phases. No mount, mount, open. Command, alter database, no mount, mount, open. That's it. Okay, so this is pretty much for today's session. And let me just stop the screen. Okay, so that's it, guys, and you can join, and again you have to watch this recording one more time. Okay, so I'm stopping, just a second. Yeah, so I'm done for today. Hope you, if you are watching recording, hope you are getting. And again, this session is for the fresher, or just they have guys who have started your database profile for maybe 6 months, 1 year, something like that. Okay, not for experienced guys. Okay, and yes, for experienced guys, I'm going to add more detailed thing, but not now. I can just put recording and I'll just give the parallel version. So little bit much more advanced, but advanced part definitely I'll take maybe in next session. As a whole, I'll take it. Okay, so don't worry on that. So thank you, guys. See you tomorrow again, the same 6 p.m. Okay, so Monday to Friday we are connecting. So see you tomorrow.